everybody. I'm back in the studio again. I had to take the summer off. It was so hot in here. It was almost 90 degrees. And in 1 week, we went from about 90 degrees in here to 52 degrees. So for some reason, our heat and our air conditioning doesn't quite reach this level in the house. So we've got a new heating and air conditioning system ordered just for this room. And we're just waiting for installation. But I've got the room warmed up. We're having a warm spell for the last couple of days and it's bearable in here. So I thought I'd do a mini tutorial on coloring snow. And what I've got before you is a page from Merry Christmas by Ruth Sanderson. And I have colored the entire page with the exception of this little snowman right here. And I'm going to be doing a demonstration on how I color snow using blues, 3 shades of blue. So what I have is Caran Pablo's, and this is Bluish Pale. My mid-range tone is going to be Pastel Blue, and then my darker shadows are going to be done in Marine Blue. Now my darker blues, I vary, but I usually use those same light and medium tones. Then I will be blending that with a Prismacolor Premier white, which is the PC 938. So let's get started on that. And I'll show you, I start with my lightest shade, and I'm going to work from down in the darkest areas, the darkest shadows, up into the lighter areas. And this is a grayscale illustration, so you're able to see where the shading should be according to the original painting. So I'm going to just kind of follow in the gray shadows. And I'm not pressing real hard, I'm kind of keeping it light because I can, go over it again later, and I will. And I'll darken up any areas that I want darkened. Kind of just doing little circles. It's best, I find, on snow not to go back and forth across the image, because when you do, it kind of leaves that streaky look. And snow doesn't usually have that streaky appearance unless you have sled tracks or tire tracks, something along those lines. I'm going to do inside of his mouth as well. So that's the pale blue. Now I'm going to go to the pastel. And for the pastel, what I'm going to do is start in the darkest area, and I'm going to work my way out toward the light. But I'm going to go fairly light touch, and as I work out, I'm going to get even lighter. So towards the darkest shadow, I'll be pressing a little bit harder, and then lighter as I go out. Darker towards the deepest part of the mouth and the back of the mouth. Darker under the nose where there'll be a shadow, and along the line of the hat. So we know there'll be a little bit of a shadow there. This is the shadow from the rope that they're steering the sled with. Just don't want to miss it. I have a little bee buzzing around in here. So I'm going to go on to the marine blue, And I'm going to start down in the darkest areas. I'm going pretty light because I'm going to blend that in, and I don't want it to smash the tooth down to where I can't get it to blend well. And I'm going to go just in what you can see are the darker areas of the grayscale. So you can see that in where, the two lower sections of the snowman come together, it's in deeper shadow. Maybe a little bit underneath of the garments. Along the scarf and up under where his snowman chin would be. And of course down in the deepest part of the mouth. Under the nose. And I know I'm going over the same areas I already did, but you're building complex colors when you do this. And it does make a difference. You can see like little divots. You see where over here where I have just like little divots in the snow. I just add a few just to give it some character. I'm going to take my Bluish Pale again, and I like to go over the blues that I already did. This is a little awkward angle for me because I'm trying to keep my head out in front of the camera lens. Now I'm pressing a bit harder now. I'm trying to merge those colors together somewhat. I'll pick up the pastel blue again. I just think that's too much gray showing through there, and I don't want the gray to show through. I want to use it as a guide, but I don't really depend on it for my shading. I just like to use it as a reference. Now I'll just go back in with the Bluish Pale. Sometimes the grayscale, the lighter areas in the grayscale are not as easy to see. But for some reason, after you get the darker colors and the shading in, all of a sudden it just appears. It just becomes visible somehow. And that's why you'll see me go back in and add some of the Bluish Pale in areas that I didn't have it to begin with. It's because all of a sudden I'm able to see those shadows that were provided by the artist. Now I want to take the white, this is the Prisma, and I'm going to blend those together. So I usually start in the white area and then I kind of work my way into and down into the darker colors. The reason is you can pick up that blue and drag it into the white. I think you can already see that it's blending that together, and it whitens up the white a little bit, even though I do use a pretty bright color of a bright white paper. Sometimes you pick up a little bit, I don't think you can probably see that too much, but you pick up a little bit of the blue on the tip of the pencil. I just wipe it off. I'm bad, I just wipe it on my pant leg usually. It washes out. Just blend those together. Along the edge of the snowman where you can see the sky back behind, I want to make that a bit lighter. It'll just make it stand out from the background. Sometimes you can't start in a lighter area because there's just not enough lighter area to get a good start on, and that's okay. You can just be careful not to drag it into the lighter areas. Try to keep the blue where you want it there. And now I'm going to do the cheek. That's, whoops, forgot to blend his mouth there. There we go. I'm going to do his cheeks, and for that I'm going to go with, it's Caran Granite Rose, Caran Pink, and this is a Black Widow pencil. They don't put names or numbers on theirs, but you can see it is a darker shade of pink than that mid-range, and that'll work fine. So I'm going to just color the cheek in a little bit, so I'm staying light on the outside, going darker, being careful not to press too hard, and then I'll take the darkest one and go right along the edge like it's a little rounded cheek, and then I'll go back to the light Granite Rose and then go over that just to blend it. I'll just use that as my blending medium. Put a little more on that one's cheek while I'm at it. Now the next thing I do is use a white pen. In this case I'm using a white Jelly Roll. I do have other white pens that I use as well. I cut my paper. I don't buy a standard size paper, so I buy a 9x12 pads of Canson sketch paper. This is what I have left over when I cut the edge of it off on one end. And so I kind of use that as my scratch pad for that. So I get my pen going there, and I'm going to put some dots to just kind of show a reflection of light. And you can see I've already done the hat. Let's see, do I need anywhere? There's a snowflake there, and there's a little bit of snow piled up on the top of this that got covered up. There's a little snow here. There's a snowflake. Don't see any more snowflakes. Sometimes I see them later. I want to put just a little bit of light along the edge of the rope. You'd be surprised what little details like this will do. All right, now I'm going to try to zoom out so you can get the whole view here. Excuse the wobbling. There we go. So that is, let me get the cord out of your way. So that's the whole picture. At this point, I normally sign it. Pen here somewhere. And there we go, signed. I did the background on this in pastels, Conte pastel pencils, and I wasn't happy with the foreground of the snow. I thought it was a little too light in contrast to the back. So I did just take and coat that a little bit with blue pastel as well, just to kind of merge those colors together. This will look a little bit different when I take a picture of it to post it on Facebook groups. I'll do that out in the daylight, and this is artificial light, so it just never quite looks right, but you get the general idea. I hope you enjoyed this mini tutorial, and I will hopefully be getting into the studio more over the winter and bringing you lots of different mini tutorials and tips and hints along the way. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like me, my group, or my YouTube channel, and you can follow me on Instagram. I am Rhonda Coloring Again, and my Facebook coloring group is Beautiful Blossoms Coloring Group.